What's going on, Jeromes? We're back. Tuesday daily live stream coming right at you, 11 a.m. Central Time, Monday through Thursday. Vikings, Bucks this week. Feels nice. Feels nice. We're about to whip Tom Brady's ass, his old ass, and his old balls. It's going to be great. It's going to be phenomenal. But thank you very much for coming along on the show today. Also, check out our Teespring store down below. If you use promo code FLEAG, FLEG, you get 19% off your entire order, everything in the store, all the great new merch down there, Producer Alley, Rockstar. So again, promo code FLEAG, FLEG, 19% off everything in store. Actually, and that will be good all December. Yeah, nailed it. So thanks very much for coming along, making this part of your day. You guys are the best. Let's see here. We got a bunch of questions we're going to get to. Promo code FLEAG. FLEAG. There we go. All right, so first one, Daniel Olson. Remember when Diggs and DeAndre Hopkins were the top two receivers, like in stats this year? Sure. Now Jefferson has more yards and touchdowns than both of them, not combined. Yeah, Diggs almost caught Jefferson last night. And also, hey, Buffalo Bills, thank you. Plus, God, it's so funny. So whenever we make a video referencing the Bills, like Bills fans just get super sensitive. Like, man, why you keep talking about us? Why are you so obsessed, huh? Living rent free in your head. The whole living rent free in your headline is so played out. It's basically when you're out of cogent arguments or as I stammer here, or legitimate points or facts for your argument. So then you're just like, we're living rent free in your head. It's like Packer fans, whenever we talk about Aaron Rodgers, we're living rent free in your heads. Yeah, it would be actually weird if you completely omitted talking about the quarterback of your division rival. Like, it's lazy. Alex Cons, for love of God, can we break the recent cycle of and open a good old can of whoop ass coming out of the locker room after the half instead of making those crippling mistakes, painful miscues? What is happening there lately? I just chalk that up to randomness. It's unfortunate. So, yeah, the first two plays after the half against Carolina, touchdowns. First play against the Jaguars after the half, touchdown. It's not great. Maybe just take a knee. I don't know. Lower to Dane. Watching during part of my lunch break. Really good at reading today. Then have to finish after work. Did you watch Cousins on Pat McAfee? No. How can a guy replace players who are injured in fantasy when you are in first place and can't get any waivers? Well, usually what happens is like half the league, it's like an unwritten agreement that some people abide by, but teams are out of the playoff race. They generally don't put in waiver claims, especially for hot free agent ticket items. So like this week, even though it didn't work out, like Benny Snell, Devontae Booker, etc. So you usually are able to get some. Plus, sometimes people just put in waiver claims and not order them correctly, so they'll just put in for a defense right away. So I was like, okay, maybe you'll be able to get through. But also, it's sort of on you, man. Towards the end of the season, especially if you do have a good record and you are going to be later in the waivers, you do have to structure your roster so you're always having backup so that you can replace within your roster as opposed to relying on waivers. So that's why, beginning of the season, you hang on to those lotto tickets. Maybe a rookie quarterback who potentially can be starting. Maybe a rookie tight end trying to work his way into the rotation, especially rookie running backs. That's why I hang on to like J.K. Dobbins, Zach Moss, Cam Akers starting to pay off now early on in the season. But as the season progresses and time compresses, that's when you start grabbing safer players. You start cycling through in a redraft or reordering priorities if it's a keeper or a dynasty, and then get players that, hey, if you have an injury or if there's COVID, especially this year, but especially this year with COVID, because you never know when the COVID is going to come for a player, is that you have to have someone on your roster that can fill in and you're okay with, right? So that's why you have backup running backs, backup wide receivers, then you can start in a pinch as opposed to just betting on, getting rid of some of the handcuffs unless you specifically have, that player, the starter on your roster, as well as you have to have a competent backup quarterback on your roster. it's really thin at tight end, but if you get someone to plug in a pinch, that could give you the competitive advantage versus someone who has to go diving into free agency. We should talk more fantasy, man. Even though I hate it. Daniel Olson, Uno reverse card is MJ the GOAT. At the start of the season, when I saw a 53-man roster, I said, "Who's Dan?" Choose Chisena. 434. Oh, I'm a young smart. I was wrong yesterday. Why? Well, I think they specifically see him as a punt gunner and a coverage guy. Could he be like their Vince Papale? Could he be their new Chris Walsh? Sure. And I think we've gotten questions about, well, with that speed, why not use him as a receiver? Dude's played like maybe 2 years of high-end college ball because he was originally on the track team at Penn State, and then he played very sparingly on special teams in Happy Valley. So, I mean, also, he doesn't have very good hands. So putting him back on punt, no. Maybe kick return someday. I mean, that could be interesting. But as of right now, I think it's a relatively good story. You could tell that he, assignment-wise, sometimes it's a little washed. Like, Chisena was to blame on the Cordero kick return and the Anthony Miller punt return late in the Chicago game. Just overran his responsibilities. Jake Simmons. Thoughts on Michael Thomas calling Justin Jefferson Rookie of the Year? Also, what do you think of the Vikings players' favorite food would be? Yeah, I saw that. I don't care what Michael Thomas says. He's just trying to get back into the Vikings fans' good graces after being such a B after ear-holing Sendejo in the Miracle game. Sendejo was never the same after that. Vikings' favorite food? Well, Kirk Cousins is human kidneys. We know that. Actually, I bet you Kirk likes cottage cheese. It just seems like a Kirk thing. Dalvin's from Florida, so also he fishes a lot, so I bet you he'd get down with like some seafood, some fish tacos. That'd be great. Justin Jefferson. I don't know. Justin Jefferson's like a kid, man. So what do kids eat? Well, I have kids, so I should know. I don't know, like gummy bears? Yeah. Actually, Jefferson strikes me as the kind of guy who I bet eats a lot of candy. Yeah. Michael Pierce, pot roast. Actually, which defensive line was nicknamed pot roast? Was that Malik Jackson? What was that? Defensive line pot roast. Because that's just a great nickname. Terrence Knighton, I was way off. That's a great nickname, man. Thielen. See, Thielen's Minnesotan. So you would say like tater tot hot dish, but I'm going to say like, yeah, I'll just say tater tot hot dish. Or like plain mashed potatoes with no spice. Do you put a little pepper on there? That's too much. And then, I don't know, Chad Beebe. I don't know, breast milk. Max Kallenberg, the draft class is legit. I'm so pumped with the first 5 picks. They all made big impact. You should make a State of the Rookies video. I mean, yeah, so far this Vikings draft class has been legit. 15 picks. You get the most lotto tickets in there. But, yeah, Jefferson, Gladney, El Jefe, Dancer's been solid. Well, Dancer's been solid the last 4 weeks. Wanham, Ezra getting after it. Hey, stop, PFR, stop loading and moving things, man. James Lynch, if they give him the time of day, I think Troy Dye will round out and be a really solid linebacker / special teamer. Harrison Hand's been solid when they give him opportunity. to KJ Osborne, yeah, we did need Michael Onwenu here. Yeah, the best rookie guard in recent memory. Brandel, I think Brandel actually could have a little bit of potential as a swing backup down the line. And here's the thing, too. Like, when you're drafting late day 3, everyone's complaining like, well, is Brandel going to start? It's a stupid pick. No, if you pick up a swing backup tackle for 4 years with a 6th-round pick, that's huge. That is good value. Metellus, Willikis, I don't know. You like the story. Johnny Tryhard, I don't know. Nate Stanley's whatever. Brian Cole was gone a long time ago. Kyle Big Hinton. One time. Next up. Jake Simmons coming out of the draft. I just feel really good about Dancer and DJ Wanham. I think my gut was right. Yeah, especially give it a couple years. Especially with Wanham, man. Daniel Olson. Remember when the Bears were 5-1, the Vikings were 1-5? Good times. Now the Bears tied for last in the NFC North, and the Vikings are in the playoffs. Pulvered Skull. Why does it seem like the Vikings always like to wait a little too long, replacing players who are clearly proven to be better given the chance? Brett Jones, Wilson, Ezra, seems like greatness, stubborn. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I feel like it might be a little bit of stubbornness. It might be a little bit of ego. You see that with personnel too. Spielman will just hang on to a player a little bit too long before jettisoning him because that is a black mark on Spielman if a player doesn't work out that he selected or drafted or signed, and also with coaching, naming a starter and then just sticking with him long past his expiration date or time to give another guy a shot. You never. Then you're calling like, well, of course he's not playing well because you're just flip flopping, and the players can't trust you if they have a short leash. If it's not working, it's not working. Zach Ballas. Are you excited? The annual 72 Dolphins, we the best everyone else GTFO tour. I used to be more annoyed by it, but I listened to the Don Shula biography, and I'm okay with it. It's more Mercury Morris. Screw that guy. Screw him right in the face. But yeah, those Dolphin teams. Shula is a badass, and also forget Shula was the head coach of the Colts when they lost to Joe Namath and the AFL Jets in Super Bowl III. It's hilarious, man. His defensive coordinator was Chuck Noll. It's funny. And also Weeb Eubank used to coach the Colts. So Shula was a dude, man. I feel like Shula after the 72 season, then they won again in 73. Then they just when they got Dan Marino, he was just like, I got this shiny new toy, because the Dolphins used to be this power running team because they had Zonka, Jim Kick, Mercury Morris, and they just pounded people, man. That's the way it was. Like Brian Griese made the Hall of Fame throwing like 4 passes a game. They had like 2 passing plays. Chase and Gelke. Justin Herbert looks like the star of a Disney Channel movie where the quarterback was a secret passion for musicals. Either or someone compared to River Phoenix. Yeah, I could see that. Skull Vikings 33, Jefferson 1,039 yards, Diggs 1037 on 30 less reception as well. You love to see it. Yeah, Jefferson is that deep threat. Diggs is getting that work, man. Sort of flip flop of his role from last year. Shiver Timbers. Daniil Hunter once said that something he wanted to do in the NFL was sack Tom Brady. So it'd be poetic if Daniil did it for him. So Daniil did it for him. Well, you can sack him in the NFC title game. All except the Bucs aren't making the playoffs. Max Kallenberg. I love the future of this team. We are competing in what should be a rebuild year. Future is bright. Yeah, absolutely. Because the Vikings tried to be too cute by half and rebuild on the fly, and it looked like it wasn't working out to start, but now it is. Skull Mitzel. Vikings need to stop playing around, sign a new return specialist. Here are a few of you guys I like. Adrian Killins Jr. He's available. Darius Shepard, Jaden Mickens, Trevor Davis, Aaron Rhymes. Yeah, we did a video with Davis. I think he's on Washington's practice squad. Mickens just got waived from the Bucs. That would be a great one. I didn't know the Killins was available. He's part of the greatest meme ever. More killing soon. Jerry Jones, the Lizard King. How long until the moniker JJ is used by the Talkings refer to Jefferson and no longer Mr. Watt? I don't know, probably never. Daniel Wilson. For some weird reason, whenever I don't wear my Vikings gear, we win. But when I do wear it, we lose. Well, don't wear it. No clothes, ever. Let us know where you're watching from. We give a couple shout-outs. I always like doing that. Samuel Salinger Skull. I think we can win this week in Tampa, and the Cardinals somehow lose to the Giants. Actually, let's see how that would work. Alrighty, Aphrodite. All right, so stupid Tuesday Night Football. Delaying the power rankings. All right, so let's see here. Vikings win. Cardinals lose at the Giants, which, I mean, that game is a little bit more feisty than you initially expected, especially the way that the Giants handled their business against the Seahawks this week. All right, so Vikings. So that would boost their playoff chances up to 75%, and the Falcons would win, or the Cardinals would dwindle down. Man, I need to get more sleep. So Cardinals will go from 35. All of a sudden, that drops down 18%. Yeah, love it, man. Love it. Go Giants. Go Big Blue. I always love the Giants. Next up is Schlars. Have you seen the If I Die, I Die Kirk Cousins t-shirts by the Pat McAfee Show? No, but that sounds pretty sweet. MD, hey, random question. In my time zone, it says you premiere videos at 4 a.m. Is it the same time where you live? Yes. Also, I appreciate consistency on your vids, unlike some other YouTubers. Thanks. Very the consistent, great content, Andy. Hey, thank you. What is the deal? How many yards do you think Dalvin will actually have? He's been doing worse as of late. He'll be fine. Yeah, we'll take that. Fall Gamer. What's up with Kendricks and what is up with Kendricks? TBD. We'll find out on Wednesday. First practice report in. Jefferson is going for the record. Yeah, he's going for the Anquan Bolden. He's going for the Quan man. Spartus JX. Seeing as some of the Buccaneers have so much offensive talent on the roster, do you think it would be worth it to trade them a 5th round pick this offseason to get Tyler Johnson? They won't do it. Nah, they won't do it. Maybe Rashad Bateman and get the band back together. I think Bateman's still going to be a back end of the 1st round pick, so it's going to be a weird draft. Deep in offensive line talent. The edge rushers, like there's a couple of high-end ones with Owo Asai, Kwity Paye, of course, Gregory Rousseau. And there's a bit of a drop-off. Defensive tackle, like it's a good day 2 defensive tackle class. There isn't really like a hands-down, gotta have top 20 defensive tackle. Like J2 Fell, he's great. He's a well-rounded tackle. Doesn't really stand out particularly in one attribute. Same thing with Christian Barmore, just a nice, well-rounded meat and potatoes guy. But there isn't a Derek Brown in this class. There isn't a high-end defensive tackle that you could say is for sure going to go top 20. I mean, they may even blank in the 1st round, which would be insane. A couple shout-outs here. All right, let's see here. Pulver Skull, Nashville in the house. Purple Rain Skull from Wausau, Wisconsin. Andrew Cannon, Des Monet. Quarterback Film Room, East Nashville, what's up? Travis up in Flake. Mike Benton, Colfax, Illinois. Sammy Sandra Skull, Austria, Shrimp on the Barbie. Patrick Harms, Cedar Rapids. Quarterback Film Room, Plymouth, Minnesota. Hunter Williams, Skull from Lake Benton. Diego Suarez, Houston in the house. What's going on? You guys are the best. Thanks for coming along. Making it a part of your day. James Johnson, Iowa. What's the deal? Philly. Philly in the house. Philly. Evan Kisconaway. If Jefferson played the first 2 weeks, do you think he'd be leading the league in receiving yards right now? Yes. Yes, I do. Daniel Olson, every year the Bears are always that one team that scare me, like they are the team that would eliminate us from the playoff race. Well, last year don't really count because it didn't matter for the Vikings seeding-wise. The year before, that one's a little bit more annoying because the Bears weren't really playing for anything, and the Vikings were playing for a playoff spot, and they couldn't get it done. Andrew Keenan. First off, do you think Cameron Dantzler has asserted himself as the number 1 cornerback for us? Well, I think Gladney and Dantzler can be a 1 and 1A. And also, I mean, Dantzler, great on the outside. Gladney can play on the inside as well. First off, Durant and Carter have the same problems J.J. Thielen have the same problems. Not balls. Yeah. Third, do you agree with less snaps for Dalvin? If games are decided, yes. But like the Jacksonville one, Dalvin needed every single touch. Absolutely need every single touch. Fourth, when do you think we will have a legit push for a Super Bowl? Now. And shout out from Spam Town USA. What up, Austin? Jake Lagovin. Andy, any podcast ideas for the offseason you can share? I don't know. I don't think that far ahead. If so, can you do an in-depth review? Where are they now? How did they play draft crushes of previous years? Oh, yeah, we could definitely do that. Josh Jones, not getting the time of day in Arizona. Matt Hennessy is starting playing well for the Falcons. Kinlaw is working his way in with the Niners. I'm happy with the draft fund. So we should do that. We should keep better track of, besides of, hey, I like that guy. Or like, hey, that guy was trash. Actually, I like basically every draft pick because I always look at it from the aspect of what a guy can do as opposed to what they can't do. Like, how can he improve a team? So, like, if you're comparing a first-round wide receiver versus a sixth-round guy, and you're like, well, the first-round guy is obviously better. Well, yeah, no poop. But what can the sixth-round guy bring? Like, can he play special teams? Can he be a decent punt gunner? Could he provide value as a wide receiver 4, potentially? I mean, those guys matter, too. Connor May. You much of a sports car collector? I see you have some in your wallet. I'm trying to see who they are. I used to be. Back in the day. I kind of want to get back into it because you do have the allure, even though the sports card market just kind of fell out decades ago. But yeah, it would be cool to get back in it because I can still like remember just like getting that Kirby Puckett rookie card, like the Twins uniforms with the blue jerseys. That was awesome, man. Jordan the Tryhard. If we beat TB, do you think the moment will carry us down to the final three after Tampa Bay? Hopefully, Vikings go down and whip somebody's ass in Tampa Bay. Hopefully they don't come back and just lay an egg against the crooked, terrible Chicago Bears. Less than bread. Is Zimmer going to rebuild a dominant defense in the next 2 or 3 years with this group? Yes. With Daniil back, with Michael Pierce actually here, will be big. Plus you have another draft. Got a couple more toys in there. Yeah. And also, I am more inclined to, obviously cutting Barr, retaining Wilson, and also finding a way to keep Anthony Harris. Yeah, just got to do it. Do the bang gang. Skull from St. Paul, Arkansas. Anyways, what was your projected stats for J.J. Jefferson earlier in the season? I think what we were looking for is like 60 catches, 900 yards, 5 touchdowns. Or might have even been less than that, but he certainly exceeded those. Robbie, let's go. Was that a Notre Dame sweater that you had in yesterday or North Dakota State? Either way, nice. I think it's North Dakota. So I like these, the quarter zip pullovers of just random colleges. So, that's always my go-to Christmas gift from the wife. I think we're getting a couple this year, but yeah, it's North Dakota. The Fighting Hawks now or something? MIT 03. Can Amir Abdullah punt return at all? He hasn't returned a punt since 2012. I'm pretty sure that's right. Back in Nebraska. Also, if Mike Hughes, and also returning kicks and punts are two different skill sets. Also, if Mike Hughes comes back, where do you think they'll rank among current quarterbacks? Last. Not even have him as a cornerback. Just have him return punts and kicks. Hutter Butter. The Vikings are going to choke against the Bucks and win against the Saints. Vikings auto is to make other teams good. Dustin Woodley. Can Kirk beat Tom? Well, they're never on the field at the same time, but they can. Cousins can certainly outduel Tom. Like if it gets into a shootout situation, even though Tom, Jefferson is the best receiver out of everyone on the field. And that's saying a lot, given how I feel about Chris Godwin. But I do think that the Bucs have more weapons, if that makes sense, because you do have to deal with Godwin and Mike Evans and Tyler Johnson and Antonio Brown and Rojo is a good receiver out of the backfield, as well as Gronk, the corpse of Gronk, and Cameron Brate's still there. So, yeah, I think they certainly can do it. Westworld. As much as I love Afadi and Hercules, something about Willikis is so intriguing. I was on IR. Andy Carlson, Green Bay Tears mug. What's the weirdest live stream question you've ever gotten? This one. Corey Mattis. Will Zimmer bring a championship home for the Vikings? So either 50-50. Either he does or he doesn't. Hunter Williams. Sup Skull from Lake Benton. I have 2 questions. How did Ezra do on Sunday versus Jags? He looked good, man. He looked good. How's Tom Compton doing in San Francisco? I've not been keeping up with Tom Compton. I haven't. But yeah, Ezra, I think he gave up 1 pressure. I think he was good in the run game. I think he was second on the team in terms of PFF grades. I think Reef was first. Pulford Skull, kicker competition options. Most obvious, bring back Blair, Hauschka, Cantanzaro, the former Cardinal, Giorgio Tavecchio, the former Raider. I think they're fine with Vizcaino on the practice squad. I kind of like him. Mug, Dancer, keep his streak going. Would love to see him shut down Mike Evans. That'd be fun to see. It would be. Pretzel Boy, predictions, Vikings 28-10. This is the Fadi's breakout game with 2 sacks, and Thielen and Jefferson each grab 2. Well, Donovan Smith has been struggling this year. Like, he hasn't been as good as he's been in recent years. You got that big contract, too. So, yeah, Afadi rushing from the right end and, a combination of hopefully Wanham's back, but also Brailford. Because I think Tristan Wirfs, who's been phenomenal this year, the right tackle from Iowa. But his one weakness is that speed rush. Even though he's a physical freak, he does struggle with guys with extreme speed, and Ben and Brailford is that too. So, I mean, just sprinkling that in. Let's go. Emma Kiskanaway, Holton will come back soon. Don't care. Fanny Vivekan, Kirk Cousins, 21-22 first-round picks to Jets for their first overall. Maybe some more. I don't think they would do that. It'd be tempting. I mean, obviously, well, expecting the next two first round picks to be late. Well, we know 2021 is going to be late. 2022 is probably even going to be later. I don't think the Jets would take this. Now, if it was Cousins and 3 1s, maybe they would. Maybe. But also, the GM who was jonesing for Cousins, McCagnon, he's not in the building anymore. Mark Jr. What should Minnesota do in the first round? I think it needs to be O-line, but maybe trade back, get a second this year and a first this year. Second this year. Looking at the options, I think team trade back, especially if the Vikings are in the 20s, would make a ton of sense. And I think that there is a ton of offensive line talent this year. It's extremely deep, especially teams that run primarily a zone scheme, which the Vikings do. So I think that the Vikings may find themselves where they like 10, 12 guys at the same position. Because the mock draft that we did on Monday, it was a similar situation where you had a dozen guys on the board. I think 8 of them were offensive linemen. You could have even extended that out further. But the Vikings have an opportunity to trade down. But also, you got to remember, it takes a team to want to trade up, and they could see things similarly where there's a lot of guys that they all like that they're okay with, that they don't need to move up and give up draft capital to go get. Now, if Mac Jones or Kyle Trask falls a little bit, maybe even Trey Lance, even though they would all be tempting for the Vikings for sure, but it potentially could be a team looking to trade up and secure the services of one of those guys. So maybe that'd be a little different. What's going on? Joe Stupka. In my opinion, we should go offensive line around 1 and then quarterback around 3. We could trade up around 2. I'm a big fan of JT Daniels from Georgia. If he's eligible, I think we get him round 3 or maybe later. I'm down with the notion of trying to get a quarterback in round 3. Although I don't think Daniels is. No. Oh, yeah, Daniels is a redshirt sophomore. Oh, yeah, because he transferred from USC after Slovan was going to win. So, I don't know if he's going to be declaring, though. But I guess we'll see. Anyways, next up. Nick Jones. How much do you think the Vikings are in Trey Lance enough to trade up in the draft? Does the fact that he's a hometown kid playing in the situation all? Optics-wise with the fans, I'm sure it plays in. Decision-wise, I don't think it does. And I think that's the right call where, it's a fun story. Marshall, Minnesota, even though the Gophers didn't offer him. But I think with the arm talent, I think that, as well as athleticism, I think that he has a lot of traits that you can build off of and that you really, really like. And even though Mac Jones has that big production with Bama, it's tough to separate the production versus the situation. Same thing with Kyle Trask to a degree. So you're just betting on traits, especially a guy that you could have sit for a couple years, Trey Lance, get up to speed in the NFL game. I mean, as of right now, like I would still take Trey Lance pretty clearly over Jones and Trask, but starting to get closer because they look good every single week, man. MCAT's gone away. Would you accept a second, third, and Ronald Jones for Dalvin? No. I've never been a big Ronald Jones fan. Like I didn't get the hype of him coming out of USC. I know he's having a good year this year, but nah. Gerald Smith. Have you ever seen the Raid 1 or 2 good action movies? Look it up. Are those like the Bollywood movies or like the Korean movies? One of the two. I've heard they're good. Minnesota Sports Grief. I'm going to chalk both a Fadi and Ant Harris 2020 seasons as sort of disappointing, even though Anthony Harris' forced fumble would have been huge. I think Harris, even though he's not getting the PFF love, he's not making the big splash he plays. I think behind the scenes, he's been doing a lot of really good stuff. He's been great in coverage. He's been solid in run support, and also he's blitzing a lot more. So I actually think that Anthony Harris is playing a lot better than PFF gives him credit for. And Fadi, leading the team in pressures, finally got home for a sack against Jacksonville, but you got to close, man. You got to get, you can get there, great, but you got to close. Gerald Smith, what's the weather going to be like in Tampa Bay on Sunday? I don't know. No snow. Patrick Harms, do you think there's still hope for Samia, or is he just another failed fourth-round offensive lineman? Well, if he takes coaching to heart, sure, but also, the big concern about him, and potentially one of the reasons why he fell, even though he's part of that great offensive line, is that he did play a little bit top-heavy, and the leaning issues. They could never fix TJ Clemmings' leaning issues and balance issues. Could they do it with Drew Samia? I don't know, like if he's willing to put in the work, I think that he does have the ability to come back, be a decent backup. But man, that's tough to come back from. I mean, some guys, if they get into an NFL game too soon, they just get shelled. They just never recover. Zach Ballas. I think we've now thrown 3 interceptions on the first play of a half. Probably. Mark Jr., am I the only one concerned about Tampa's secondary? Nah, it can be pretty damn legit. And they eventually did lock down on Kansas City, even though they gave it away in the first half to Tyreek. But yeah, they are certainly legit back there. I do like Carlton Davis. I do like Sean Murphy Bunting. Love him coming out of Central Michigan. So they do have some players back there. Lucas, what would you consider the Vikings' biggest draft need as of right now? I think it's nebulous. You would like to pick up a quarterback of the future, but I don't think that's like the most pressing need, especially if Cousins is going to play this way. And also the depth of the quarterback class. You can grab one late day 2, early day 3. You could say the Vikings are missing one offensive line piece. Plus, you do like Ezra's positional versatility, so you don't have to be dialed in on specifically a tackle or a guard. You can just see how the board plays out. You could say defensive interior, but it's going to be a day 2, day 3, high-end day 3 defensive interior class. Depending what happens with Harris, safety could be a need. Also, wide receiver 3. So, I mean, the Vikings go into draft and really just play the board, which is phenomenal. Lucas, Pulford Skull. I really feel the game is going to be high scoring and shootout. Healthy Davin could go off against the Bucks. Would love to see it. Logan Vids. What do we need to do to beat the Buccaneers? Pressure Tom Brady. Get pressure with 4, blitz his ass because he will make mistakes. We got a video coming out tomorrow about the breakdown, like him the first 8 games, him the last 4 games. Oof. Robbie, what do you think about Aaron Banks, right guard from Notre Dame as a day 2 pick? The entire Notre Dame offensive line is just like insane. Like Eichenberg is, I think somehow he can be underrated. Like you're on Notre Dame and you're phenomenal and you're underrated. It's crazy. Maria Martinez. My son was going to ask if Justin Jefferson is going to make the Pro Bowl. Yeah, I think that he'll be a first ballot Pro Bowler, and I think that he should and could be in the All-Pro conversation. Like, if the All-Pro wide receivers this year are Nuke, Diggs, and Jefferson, because I think there's 3 receivers on the first team All-Pro. As I bite my tongue again. It's annoying. Yeah. Shiver Timbers. Just saying the Vikings are 5-1 since trading Yannick the freaking Ngakoue, and Ravens are 1-5. That's causality? Nah, not related. Max Kellenberg, what are your top 5 free agent draft needs at the moment? I think O-line. McCarr went through that. President Carlson player of the game prediction. Jordan Brailford, one time. Hayden Ziegler. Why isn't the run game been explosive as usual? I think it's more missing Ezra Cleveland, and they got him back on Sunday, and teams are just completely selling out. You saw it against Carolina, you saw Dallas, and also you saw it with Jacksonville. That's like, hey, we are anyone except for 33 is going to beat us. We don't care. We're going to make Kirk Cousins we're going to make Kirk Cousins make him beat us, whatever the word is. But yeah, Dalvin for offense player of the year. What do you think of Harrison Hand? I think he's gotten opportunities to look good. Minnesota Sports Grief. I'm not sure why the Vikings Entertainment Network keeps releasing Zim post locker room speeches. They're all exactly the same. I mean, it's kind of fair. I mean, coaching really is a lot of cliches. Zach Wilson, did Justin Jefferson pass Stephon Diggs last night in receiving yards? Other way around? No. Sam McMullen, would you call Michael Thomas's real name Captain Slant to his face? Yes. I mean, what's he going to do? Mark Jr. What's he going to do? Call his Uncle Keyshawn? Mark Jr. I don't care how we win. If we win every game like the Panthers-Jags game, I'm fine. Probably just die within the season of hard knocks. Win's a win. Absolutely. Evan Kiskanaway. I think the Vikings should restructure Barr instead of cutting him, playing DN or is meant to play. If by restructure you mean pay cut, then yes. And also him as edge, I think too much time may have passed. I mean, I think the Vikings and Zimmer did him a massive disservice not having him be an every down edge rusher coming out of college. But yeah, David Martin, especially when you compare, even though Barr obviously got a great off-ball linebacker contract, but if you compare high-end off-ball linebacker contracts and average edge rusher money, it's about the same. So it's he missed out. David Martin. What are your thoughts about the Bears 6-game losing streak? Also, my birthday is on the 19th. Happy early birthday, and the Bears are the biggest fraud in NFL history. Like, we said it. We said it many times on this channel, and then everyone's like, the Bears. And then, Westworld, what's the latest on Cutting's journey to the practice squad? Well, they haven't made any moves yet, but we'll see what happens later today. Ben and Durham, if you could bring one player out of retirement, who would it be? Like in their prime? Tom Brady? Nah, I'm just kidding. One player. In their prime? Lawrence Taylor. Can we add Lawrence Taylor to this team? God, that'd be great. Or Steve Hutchinson in his prime at left guard, or Randall McDaniel. Just plop him on in. Yeah, we'll go with that. Next up is Shiver Timber. So, Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, Evans, Rob Gronk, Jeff Gladney, also Kendricks and Wilson. Yeah, we got this. Why doesn't Abdullah take over punt returns? Like we said, punt returns is a completely different skill set. And guys who can do both are really talented. I've guessed gone away. Rashawn Slater, Cosme, Eichenberg, and Leatherwood ranked. Slater, Cosme, even though I really like Eichenberg, I think Cosme's got a little bit more upside. So Slater, Cosme, Eichenberg, Leatherwood in that order. Where Leatherwood is just a rock solid. You like the positional versatility. You can play left tackle, play guard as well. But there's just more. So Slater's fun, man. I understand why he opted out, but I kind of wish he would have played this year. But I mean, dude just gets after it. He really does have some Quentin Nelson attitude to him. You like that, the way that he finishes plays. I know that he's going to be knocked for being a touch short and short arms, but he's really good with his hands. And also, I wouldn't be shocked if a forward-thinking offensive line coach and head coach, they put Slater at left tackle and he works out. Yeah, sort of like the way the Patriots have used Isaiah Wynn at left tackle, where Wynn's only 6'2". He's got shortish arms, but he can play the position. It's weird. But yeah, Slater. Cosme's such a physical freak. Like, it wouldn't shock me if Cosme tests better than Brian O'Neill and Ezra Cleveland. Like, he's that high level of an athlete. Needs some refinement. Eichenberg, I think, is a plug-and-play NFL starting left tackle. And Leatherwood's just good. I mean, they're all good. I mean, it's a very close grouping. Daniel Olson, do you watch TPS, and what's your opinion on them? I do not. So I don't have one. Ben Cornick, Kirk Cousins, Ryan Tannehill. Give me Kirk. Going down with the ship. Andy Shong. Are the Washington football team legit after being the Steelers? Well, that defense was always going to be legit. And also Alex Smith, that's comeback story of the year. Love it. Yeah, and also Ron Rivera at the helm. They're looking good, man. Viking Jerome, got to keep Antoine Winfield Jr. contained. Yeah, got to keep him away from the ball. Daniel Olson, are any tank for Trevor Jabroni still in existence? Now they're just waiting. It really says a lot when people just are rooting for their team to do bad so that they can be proven right, so that they can thump their chest. It's really gross. Lucas, it's like when we missed with Jalen Reagor and Justin Jefferson, and it'd be like me rooting for Justin Jefferson to do bad, so I can be like, aha. It's gross. It's disgusting, man. Like, just admit when you're wrong. Lucas, will the Vikings play at SoFi Stadium in wildcard round? Which one's SoFi? I'm bad with all these corporate names. 'Cause that's LA, right? Yeah. No, they're going to play at Lambeau Field. Wait, what's the corporate sponsor of Lambeau Field? Sausage. Mark Jr., do you think Minnesota could and should bring back Xavier Rhodes and Everson Griffin? Rhodes, no. Everson, sure. Eric Hare, which Buccaneer throws the first fit once we take a huge lead? Brady. Brady's a baby back biatch, even though I like Tom Brady. Robot Squirrel, just not this week. Did you know we could go 8-8 and 9-7 still make the playoffs? Cardinal schedule gives us a real chance. Yeah, a lot of things that have to go right, but I'd rather just take care of business. Griffin Career, has this turned into Zimmer's best coaching job? I mean, yeah, kind of. You could say his first year when they go 7-9 after they went, was it 3-13? Or no, they went 5-10-1. Leslie's last year, And Zimmer turned around that 32nd ranked defense into, I think they're like 14th or somewhere in there, with pretty much the same personnel, but also adding Anthony Barr. But yeah, from 1-5 and just turning things around on the fly, certainly have to give consideration for it. And frankly, I think Zimmer deserves some Coach of the Year love, even though Tomlin will probably still get it. Zach Ballas. So we're rooting not to win the division, right? I don't think his team can win it at home in the playoffs. Just get in. Everything else will sort itself out. John Anderson TV. Would you trade a third for Darnold, or prefer we draft someone? Well, given, so I know that you can't compare apples to apples since Darnold will probably be traded before the draft, but Darnold or Desmond Ridder in the third, I'll take Ridder. Yeah, slightly cheaper contract, more years left on it. Yeah. OTM, even though I do like Darnold. OTM Snipes, can you please show the Vikings PFF grade for O-line? Yeah, I don't like doing that because it's a paywall thing, so I don't want to put all their business out there. So even though we read off their numbers in the videos. Nate H, the announcer's sliding with that OPI do. Yeah, it's crap. That was crap. MIT 03, Ravens are 5-1. Blah, blah, blah. Nate H, hi. Oh, do you like Greg Eisworth? Will or should we draft him? That's not in English. Evan Kisconaway. Who has a better shot of returning for the end of the year between Barr and Hunter? I think Hunter. That's crazy, man. Mug, how do you think the offense would do against the Bucs? Good. What's the deal? Team you're most worried about in NFC, not Saints? Frankly, the Rams. Yeah, Sean McVay's got that team playing great, man. And also, you always have Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. Who are the bigger frauds, Steelers or Bears? Bears, by far. Like, Steelers are frauds. Like, they weren't as good as 11-0. Like, but they're still a good team. Bears are just complete ass. Logan DeGraff, what are your thoughts on 2021 schedule? Who looks that far ahead? Why are you so Asian? Baby, I was born this way. That's right. That's the live stream for today. Thanks, everyone, for coming along. We'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Time. And remember, Teespring Store, promo code FLEG, F-L-E-G, 19% off everything. Getting in time for the holidays. Do that up. Thanks for coming along. Subscribe.